Gaming Librarian, and I'm here today with another new game in review. This time, as you can see, it is Biomutant. So Biomutant came out last Tuesday on May 25th, 2021, and I've had the privilege of playing this game on the Xbox Series X. It also came out on PC and on the PlayStation 4. So while it is marketed towards the last generation consoles, it does get a little bit of a performance boost on next gen hardware. So, in the wake of a slew of stellar role playing games, along the likes of Mass Effect, the Legendary collection that just came out recently, Ghost of Tsushima, and Yakuza Like a Dragon, um, games that are role playing games or games with RPG mechanics are becoming more and more prevalent. And while exploring the world of Biomutant feels somewhat like doing a run of the mill quest, uh, it's a run of the mill quest that comes with a lot of interesting and unique moments within to keep me coming back. So, Biomutant has been a very long time in the making. So it was originally announced in 2017, and has been a game that I know I've been waiting for a very long time. Ever since I heard about it in 2017, I was very ecstatic to get the opportunity to play this game. And after a couple of delays, I personally almost lost all hope of ever seeing this game come out. And then suddenly, in early 2021, they said, by the way, this officially has a May release date, and I was like, yes, super ecstatic. And then they fulfilled it, and so in the wake of a post-apocalyptic world, you, the player, get to play as a rodent mutant-like creature of your own choosing, who needs to bring together warring factions to save the world. Pretty simple premise. However, you also, at the core of this game, have a good versus evil dynamic going on. So, admittedly, my bias is that I want to save the world, but you also have the opportunity to go the evil route and completely destroy it. And so, as I play a little bit of this game to give you a preview of what it's about, uh, do recognize that while this game was 4 years in development, it was handcrafted by a team of no more than 20 people who really had passion for this game and were really dedicated to see this come through. And so they produced a game of extreme quality, which, in my opinion, is an incredible feat. Now, big question you may have going into this, though, is whether this game is worth a full $60 Canadian. So American, that would be roughly about 50 to $45 American. And at this point in time, I would recommend waiting for a sale. I don't say this to be rude, but in a market where there's tons and tons of games coming out right now, especially if you're a public library that may not have the budget to build an extensive gaming collection, or if you're building up your own gaming collection, this is a game that I can see dropping in price relatively soon, and is definitely worth picking up when it enters into the price point of about 40 to 50 Canadian, or about 35 to 45-ish American. That being said, as I alluded to, it was a team of 20 who created this, and so I really want to support the creative endeavors of such small teams with such ambitions to produce games this big. And so I personally was fully happy to pay $60 full price. And if you think that this might be your type of game, then please support devs like this who work their butts off for such small small games like this. And so overall, I'll quickly go into my pros and cons, but in the meantime, I will load up the game so that we're not just watching the menu.
Welcome to Biomutant.
So if you had the chance on Friday, I had also posted up a Let's Play session of mine where I played a little bit of this game as well as Mass Effect. So gives you an idea if you want more footage. I played about 40 minutes of Biomutant I really enjoyed what I did and played. And so, if you're on the fence about whether or not to get this game, I
Don't flinch
definitely
away from
recommend
us. It's
checking
your
out
moment. Lead
that Let's Play.
with us.
Okay, so I do believe I'm right in front of my giant mech, so I'm going to bring up that yellow interact button again. There we go. And so as you can see, this game is absolutely gorgeous. So again, I cannot emphasize the fact enough that a team of 20 people produced this game. And so to get something of this quality is absolutely stunning. Of course, I am playing on the current gen console, so the visual fidelity is a little bit higher than you would see on a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Whereas if you have the Pro models or the One X model of either of those consoles, you may see this performance boost as well. So we'll just sop up this oil. And so as you can see, the lighting effects are amazing. I'm a little robot, so I'm probably about 3 to 4 hours into the campaign itself on this one. And so I won't get too ahead of myself. I am in a hypoxia zone, but as you can see, my character has a gorgeous detail to it. I chose the duelist class because I wanted to have access to both guns and swords. But in terms of different weaponry, so far I've unlocked a boomerang and a rifle just to mix it up. There are also fun little powers that you can use. So for example, I can go around and scorch the earth around me, or drop little acidic pools of acid for enemies to run into.
Stompity stomp.
Now, overall, for my pros and cons of this game, as I talked about earlier, gorgeous environments that really highlight what last gen and even current gen software is capable of.
Just like himself.
In my opinion, there is great pacing for the RPG elements. So going into the menu system and looking at the character, it's a very easy layout. As I alluded to in the Let's Play, when you're first building your character, don't feel as if you're locked in power and ability wise to a certain class or type of character. As you go along, you'll be able to buff the stats and increase the abilities that your character has access to as you go along. And so that's something that I wish I'd known going in. And so I'll just do a quick level up. I will add to my agility to get a little more speed. But as you can see, the upgrading mechanics are very simple. So you have upgrade points, bio points, and psi points that you can use. Each one allows you to power up different abilities. So you can go in and switch up what biogenics you have. You can also power up your combat moves. So one-handed slash, if I'm using one sword. Of course, in this game, I am using... I am using the one-handed slash. I always want to think it's dual wield. But an absolutely fantastic development to the system. There's not too much grinding to this game, either for items or for levels. I feel like the pacing of it is allowing me to gain levels at a pretty even pace, and even playing on the normal setting. While there is a challenge, it's not so overwhelming that's deterring me from playing the game. And some of the creations that you can come up with for your characters, the swords, their outfits, are really fun and enjoyable. I really enjoyed the character creator that comes with this. So you can see the detail in my character here. And sort of everything that you can see is customizable to some degree. So by the end of the game, and as the game goes on, the character really becomes your own. I also really enjoy how fluid the combat is. And so I find it's a great mix between sword, gun, and magic gameplay.
Can you imagine how
So
this
let's
place
see
used
if I can
look
get to
before
a
the dead oil
combat
flood?
point in this game.
Might want to hold your breath before you head any further. You're about to witness the breathtaking vistas of what's known as the Dead Zone. In the old world, roads
So
like this really
the narrator is
Ah,
one who will
boast of relief
constantly
to
narrate
disarm.
most of your actions, and so I will touch upon that in a moment. But you just get an idea of how gorgeous this game looks. There we go. We have a quick enemy to fight, so I can show you how the gameplay
Back to your own
mechanics
stompers.
go
Imagine
along.
that. You could just go to a
So the
place
sword
like
play
this
is
and have
fluid,
a proper meal back in the old world.
and I'm just using the X button to do so. But I can also just as easily switch to my secondary weapon, in this case, a gun, if I so wanted to. Now, before I end up... oh, I ended up dying. I spent too long outside. But as you can see, even when you do die, it's a quick turnaround and you're back in the game with the checkpoint system in place. It's very nice, so you're not having to manually save all the time. I also find that the game characters in this game are very humorous. They're very colorful and unique. So the writing that was put into this game is above and beyond, and something that I've really enjoyed for an RPG developed by such a small team. And then finally, this game with the narrator, with the characters, sort of the potty humor of when you find a checkpoint, your rodent sort of pees on the post to mark its territory, so to speak. Really gives me the vibes of the original Fable series. If you've ever had a chance to play it on PC or Xbox, Fable 1 and 2 were some of my favorite games growing up as a teenager. And so Biomutant pays homage to that sort of potty humored, doesn't take itself too seriously, but also has remarkably rich RPG mechanics to it. That being said, there are some cons to this game. The narrator, though lovely and even comical addition at first, can quickly become annoying, though there are ways to tinker around and turn off the narrator going through the game. The game, I do find, is a bit too expensive at first, so that $60 price point is a bit high. However, as I said before, as it is a small studio behind this, I would certainly suggest supporting them in full if you can. Just because when it's a team this small, and this is what's considered a double A title, so it's not triple A or quadruple A like games such as Horizon or Ratchet and Clank or Halo or even Forza would be. This is a smaller studio with a very unique project. So if you can afford the 60, I would say go out of your way to support this studio if you like what you see. The pacing is a bit slow at first, so it's taken me a couple hours to get to a point where it's really picked up. But getting to that point, as soon as the world opens up to you, it is an absolute blast to explore, to level up your character, and give them more combat potential. The controls do take a little while to get used to, so admittedly, I am... oh, well, there you go. I survived 5 minutes in the dead zone. I am using the Xbox controller, and it literally does use every single button on this controller throughout the game. So it takes a little while to get used and memorize all the controls that are expected of you. But once you have it down, it's fairly fluid. And as I said, the combat, being able to switch between the sword and my rifle at a moment's notice, because the sword's mapped to the X button, my abilities are mapped to the L trigger, and then my rifle is attached to my right trigger, is just very intuitive and enjoyable. And then lastly, name conventions sometimes do not make the most sense. So the crowbar in this game has a funny name called the Crawbar. or something to that effect. I'll just bring it up quickly. So you have tools, yes, and so in this case, the old world claw bar, and while it's a bit humorous at first, it can get a bit tedious, and some of the names that the narrator gives to the creatures can take away from the experience a bit. It almost feels like you're playing a kids game that's also meant to have edge to it, which for its T for teen rating is sort of finding that middle ground. It's not aggressively violent, um, but nor is it a kids game. It's that sort of healthy balance right in between. But overall, I would say this game is an absolute blast to play. In sort of the space in between big titles right now, with I guess the next big title or titles coming out in June being Mario Golf and Ratchet and Clank. This is sort of a nice appetizer to have to fill in that void, and it's been one that I've been really enjoying. So I'll leave it here. I don't want to spoil too much of the game, but as I said, I did a Let's Play of this game on Friday during my Let's Play session that you can check out on twitch.tv/Chris the Gaming Librarian. And there you'll get the opportunity to see more of the combat, more of the open world nature of this game, and to give you a real sense as to whether or not you want to add this game to your own collection. For myself tonight, this has been Chris the Gaming Librarian reviewing Biomutant, available now on the PC, PS4, and Xbox series of consoles. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Check out my profile on twitch.tv/Chris the Gaming Librarian. The Discord link is there. Feel free to join my Discord channel where I post gaming news and I'm happy to field any questions. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great night. Thank you. And this is Chris the Gaming Librarian signing out.